$9,097.10. That's what I spent for the off-grid system at my cabin over the last 16 years. And today I'm going to show you every single dollar that I spent, every component, every upgrade, and every mistake, because I made 4 of them. 3 were bad decisions I made, both in the design of my system as well as how I went about building it. And the 4th wasn't really a design problem, but it still cost me about $1,200. And here's why I want you to watch this video. If you're thinking about building an off-grid system, or maybe you've already started building one, the mistakes that I made are exactly the mistakes that most people make. And a couple of them are mistakes that you can prevent, that you can do right now before they cost you a bunch more like they cost me. And I've pretty much got every receipt of everything I bought, and I'm going to build this out line by line, year by year, so you can see what I did, and I'll explain all those mistakes to you so that hopefully you don't make them too. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to tell you the truth, folks. What it cost me, where I went wrong, and what you could do to not make the same mistakes yourself. So let's get into it. Back in 2010, I'm building this cabin, and I actually started in 2009, but it was in 2010 that I decided to finally start my off-grid power build. Now, I was doing this from scratch. No utility power, no backup plan. I'm going to power my cabin myself with solar. That's it. It was just me. I had a parts list I put together, and I had a lot of confidence too, though maybe I hadn't quite earned it yet. So here's exactly what I bought. I started with 3 Sun 205 watt solar panels to give me 615 watts total. Then I bought the Xantrax C40 charge controller, 1 PV combiner box, a 20 amp PV breaker, a lightning arrestor, and a DC disconnect. Next I bought 6 volt 220 amp hour golf cart batteries, an Ames 2500 watt inverter, an Iota DLC 55 amp 12 volt battery charger, and cables and miscellaneous stuff. And that came out to $2,668.10. Back in 2010, that was a pretty good deal. Did the system work? Well, yeah, but did it work well? That's where the story gets interesting, folks. Now, this part I want you to pay attention to, because everything I'm about to tell you, you can avoid. Now, the first mistake I made was I bought the wrong charge controller. The Xantrax C40 charge controller is a PWM charge controller, which is pulse width modulation. Say that fast. At the time, I'd heard about MPPT charge controllers, but I didn't really know that there was that much difference, and I didn't realize the charge controller I bought wasn't the right one for what I was trying to do. Because when I installed those panels, they were about 50 feet from my porch where I was putting all my equipment, and the voltage drop over that distance, if I ran the panels in parallel, well, the issue here is it was too great a voltage drop. So I had to run the panels in series. So I've got this PWM charge controller, and in the summer it was actually fine, and I didn't even realize that it was shedding power or just ignoring power that I was producing, because those PWM charge controllers essentially just ignore everything above the max voltage that they're going to utilize to charge up your batteries. I was essentially getting about 1/3 of the power that I could produce because I had the wrong charge controller. And that became real evident in the wintertime because I just wasn't producing enough power. Now, the fix required me to go out and buy an MPPT charge controller, which is maximum power point tracking. And I bought the Morningstar MPPT TriStar 60 that can utilize all of that power coming from the panels and give me that full 615 watts that they can produce without any issue at all. And that cost me about $494. Had I just bought it from the start, I would have saved, well, the money I bought for the Xantrax, which happens to be sitting above my head on the wall right now because it hasn't been in use since early 2011. Mistake number 2 was I didn't start with enough solar. It was clear to me at the time that I was really pushing it with my limited solar panels. I also didn't have enough battery power. So when you look at that system, my second mistake was really not only that I didn't have enough solar, but I also didn't have enough battery power. So I bought 2 more batteries. Now that only cost me about $190, but it still wasn't enough power. I didn't have enough solar. Even in the summertime, I found that I was running my generator, and in the winter, I would run my generator as much as twice a day. So after 7 years of battling with running this generator all the time, I was running it every morning for at least 2 hours, if not 3 or 4, and every evening for 2 or 3 hours. I was living at the cabin because I moved in just 3 years after I built my off-grid system. Now, at that time, I also added 4 more batteries because I really didn't have enough battery power, but I certainly didn't have enough solar. Now I've got 12 golf cart batteries, but I was still running my generator every day, sometimes twice a day. So in 2016, I ordered 6 305-watt solar panels and the racking material for them, as well as an Outback FlexMax 80 charge controller. And those panels cost me about $1,067. The charge controller was another $530, but I also had to buy another combiner box, cables, DC breakers, all that good stuff too, which added another $120 plus $310 of shipping for that whole system. Of course, then I had to install it all. So I built it, put it up on the roof, and got it all set up. Now that solved that problem of not having enough solar. In fact, that's what I'm running today. So that really is a big one, folks. Not only making sure you have a big enough battery bank, because you're going to find you're going to use it a lot more than you think you will, but certainly having enough solar. I started with too little solar. I really had to beef that up quite a bit before the system was happy. Now, mistake number 3 was I put in a modified sine wave inverter. The Ames 2500 watt inverter was modified sine wave, and it works okay for a lot of simple things that don't require really clean power, but it actually destroyed one of my wife's hair things, you know, I don't know, on a flat iron or whatever it was she used. And you weren't supposed to charge up batteries with it like the lithium batteries you have for your drills and that kind of stuff, because they just don't like that kind of power. And so I really needed to get a much better inverter. And in 2013, I bought an Ames 4000 watt inverter charger, pure sine wave. At the time, that Ames inverter was the inverter to have for those low frequency type loads, induction loads, air conditioners, pumps, all that kind of stuff. Anything like that, you want that low frequency inverter. Now, mistake number 4, and this one, folks, this is entirely on me. It was operator error, pure and simple. After a couple years of having this system, I left the cabin not paying attention to the fact that I had a heat tape on my sewer pipe running off the inverter, and I forgot to shut down the inverter. I just wasn't thinking. I left in a hurry. Well, when I got back a week or 2 later, it's been a while, I can't quite remember how long I was gone, my 12-volt battery bank was at 9 volts. And folks, I did that twice. So after 4 years of abusing that system like that and making those kind of mistakes, I had to replace all 12 of those batteries with 12 brand new batteries. That cost me about $1,200. And that was an expensive lesson to learn. I did not expect to have to replace those batteries 4 years in. So $1,200 because I left things on when I left the cabin for an extended period. That was an expensive mistake. And I'm telling you this because it's actually one of the most common mistakes made when people build their off-grid systems and they're fairly new to doing this. It's a very common issue that people have. They just forget something because you live in the modern world, right? If you leave a light on at home, your power bill might go up a little bit, but your whole home power system isn't going to die on you and cost you $1,200 to fix. Do it with an off-grid system, it's going to hurt, and a lot of people make that mistake. So hopefully by hearing that I made that mistake, you won't. Now, I will tell you this, you could get a low voltage disconnect and put that on your battery bank. Inverters often have them, but they're way too low. And you can buy low voltage disconnects, at least if you're using 12-volt battery banks. It's pretty simple. They usually cut out at about 11.9 volts. Had I put one of those on, it would have actually prevented that issue, and they're about $50. So in reality, for $50, you could probably save yourself $1,200. Something to consider. All right, folks, let's add everything up. I'm going to build it out line by line so you can see what I bought and when I bought it, and I'll total the whole thing at the end for you. In 2010, the original system was 615 watts, and it cost me $2,668.10. In 2011, I bought the Morningstar charge controller, which was another $493.27. In 2013, I replaced my Ames 2500 watt modified sine wave inverter. Now that cost me $1,399. In 2014, I replaced all 12 batteries. That cost me $1,200. In 2016, I picked up 6 305-watt panels, plus the Outback FlexMax 80 charge controller, and assorted cables and breakers and combiner box and all that kind of stuff. which ran $2,145.73. And now in 2026, I've got 3 400-watt bifacial solar panels that I'm going to use to upgrade the original 615-watt array, and a Victron 15035 charge controller. So that's something we'll be working on this year. And that cost me $801 for everything I bought there. And that's for 3,030 watts of solar generating capacity. Well, actually, it's not bad, and I'm comfortable with that number. But here's the thing, when I look at that table of everything I spent, $1,200 to replace those batteries, well, that stings a little bit. It was completely avoidable, and that's the truth, folks. Now here in 2026, I am replacing that 615-watt array with 1,200 watts of bifacial panels and that Victron charge controller I mentioned earlier. And I'm going to be retiring those 16-year-old 205-watt panels. They've earned it. It's time for them to retire. Now, of course, I will do a video on all of that as well sometime in the future, so look for that on the channel. Should be kind of fun. It's going to be amazing to see that extra power that I'll have to run some air conditioning. So there you have it, folks. 16 years, 4 mistakes, over $7,000, and a system that does exactly what I wanted it to do from the start. Just took me 16 years to get there. And I hope this helps you out. If it did, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. And thanks to all my members. I really appreciate your support. Meanwhile, folks, I'm going to throw another video right over here for you to check out. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a great day. The old Jarhead out.